Yeah, we live. Let me check my levels. Check my levels. Make sure we good. If there's any audio issues, let me know in the chat, please. So, we could fix those. I want to make sure I'm giving you guys good quality. So, if there's any issues, any stream issues, please let me know in the chat. That would be appreciated. But let me introduce myself. What is good, everybody? I'm Sean P. the Blunt God, and today we are discussing One Piece, specifically One Piece chapter 1019, titled Heliceraptor. Hela, yeah, Hela, is that yeah, Heliceraptor. I'm just make sure I'm saying it right. But yeah, before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notification when I go live. If you want to talk more One Piece, make sure you go down into the description box where you will see links to the One Piece Facebook group if you're on Facebook. Also, the One Piece Discord, One Piece Manga Talk Discord, and the One Piece Manga Talk Facebook group where we talk One Piece. But anyway, that's not what you guys are here for. You guys are here to talk about this latest chapter. So let's get into it. Let's not waste no time. All right, so we got a basic full cover spread of the Straw Hats. Look like they're surfing with those big whales. I forget what the what specific type of whales these are. I think they've been stated. They stated their name before. If you know, let me know in the chat. But yeah, it's these whales. I guess they're being ordered by Jinbei. We see Luffy, Usopp, and Brook basically surfing Jinbei, and then we got Zoro and Sanji on one of the whales. Zoro looking at Robin and Nami, Sanji's looking at Robin and Nami with like look kind of like a sushi pizza or something. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, but we got Zoro sitting there eating, and then we got more so in the front of the picture. We got Frankie, Robin, Nami, and Chopper on their little well. Man, but I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. Like Frankie and Robin. Look, I ain't shipping it, but I'm just saying. They around each other a lot. Just like I'm kind of thinking Sanji might end up with Nami by the end. If Oda decides to do the shipping, we not here to talk about shipping though. That's not what I want to do. But I just kind of find funny that you see Frankie and Robin on a shark. It's always I always feel as though him and Robin got like a little chemistry going on. But let me move that here and man, okay, now I can see got a better thing of the page. But all right, let's get into it. Chapter 1019, Heliceraptor. All right, so we start the channel, or not channel. We start the chapter with Queen like shooting a blast through his little cybernetic tail. I want to say is or his hand. Is it his arm? I think it's his arm. Yeah, but his neck is cybernetic, and I want to say one of his arms. I'm not sure if it's right or left arm, but let me know in the chat. But he's basically shooting blasts at Sanji, and Sanji says, the tech to fire lasers again and again. I bet Frankie would love to get his hands on that, which stuck out to me. But we're gonna talk about that at the end of the chapter. And then we kind of cut to Zoro, Dr. Miyagi, and Chopper, and I forget the female doctor. What's her name? What's her name? I don't know. I don't remember her name, but I know it's Dr. Miyagi, which is like the little goat doctor. And then we got Chopper, and they're talking about injecting Zoro, and Zoro's basically like, "Well, get this cast off of me before you do it, or get these bandages off of me before you stick inject me with the whatever that little mink medicine they got is." And then it's funny because I didn't really notice this until I read my little second read through, because I read these like on Sunday. I read the official chapter that drops Sunday, so I'll read this like a few hours ago, and I try to read it again to get a better context of things. But my that's why I like discussing this with you guys, because I know some of you guys read the chapter days ago, and y'all got a lot more time to sit on the chapter and analyze it more, which I think that kind of comes in handy with this chapter, because there's some stuff I want to talk about with Yamato later in the chapter that I feel as though a lot of people actually got time to digest on it. I only had a few hours, so I kind of want to hear. I want to hear people's opinion on the whole Yamato devil fruit thing. But again, that's later. But yeah, so this next page, the whole situation with Luffy kind of being knocked out and basically coming back, and we see Zoro about to almost be resurrected into the battle. In the previous page, like they're looking like, oh, how do we fix him? And then we see Luffy resurrect. In the previous page, you see them talking about Zoro, and then Zoro's like, just get me out these bandages. So it's just funny, Luffy wakes up talking meat, because he's always hungry. He always hungry. But anyway. But yeah, so while they got Luffy still passed out, they're talking about how he spit up all the water, and it kind of mirrors, because they talk about giving Luffy an injection, just like they was talking about giving Zoro an injection, but they also said, oh, well, let's give him some pills. Like they don't even really know what to do. They're just talking like, let's give him some pills. They don't talk about any specific kind of pills, because I guess Law is the doctor of he's a captain in the doctor, so his other crew aren't doctors. Like they don't really know about medicine, so they don't really know how to treat Luffy, and they're lost with treating Luffy without their captain around. So anyway, Luffy just pops back up talking about he wants some meat, wants some food. This is Luffy. Every time he gets knocked down and he gets back up, he's hungry. Yeah, you just give him some food, he's back to full health. But yeah, so we go back to Frankie and Sasaki, and some of the headliners. I want to say some of Sasaki's men are now basically attacking some of the other Sasaki's men. These are Sasaki's men that have been converted by Otama's devil fruit. They're basically attacking Sasaki's other men, and Sasaki basically says, hey, just because you're under, just because you're attacking us because you're under the influence of some other of somebody else. You're under the effect of somebody else. This is still treason. Like, I don't care. Like, there's no excuse that you're being controlled by somebody else. It's still treason. That's a very like, I kind of think that might be what Kaido would feel. Like, I don't care that y'all under somebody's ability. You guys still betrayed me. So off with you. And I'm glad he kind of pointed that out. I thought it was funny. You know, I don't think it's necessarily reasonable to basically consider it treason if someone is under the control of somebody else. But you know, anime characters aren't always exactly reasonable in situations like this, especially the antagonist side of it. So we get Frankie and Sasaki talking, because most of the fights been off panel, so they're kind of just talking about like, oh, you're tough. They're basically telling each other they're tough because they're both tough individuals. You see Sasaki, who has a zone devil fruit, which zone users are usually the toughest. They're the most durable, and they have like the best, not the best attacks, but as far as like just, I want to say maybe pure strength and force and pure physicality, I would say the zone devil fruit probably thrives the best in, pure physicality on offense and defense. So their durability is high, and their blunt force is high. So, and then you got Frankie, who's a cyborg. He's made of iron. He's made of metal, basically. And not only that, he's in his we see him fighting Sasaki in his iron Frankie, or his Shogun Frankie armor. So it's not like he's fighting Sasaki in his normal form. So it's understandable why they would both be having problems getting through each other's armor. And not only that, Sasaki, if you look at Sasaki, not only are zones known to be durable, Sasaki's also I think the I want to correct me if I'm wrong, but the because the carnivore zone users are usually more vicious. They have a better range of attacks, but I want to say the herbivore zone fruits probably are more like sturdy. They're more like bulky. Like when you look at Queen, Queen is he could take a lot of damage. So I would probably say the herbivores they're better suited for defense, when the carnivore zones are more suited for offense. They're both tough, but I want to say the herbivores are more suited for defense, and the carnivores are more suited for offense, like their attack power. Because they usually got sharp teeth, even though, because the Triceratops, I want to say is a herbivore. I mean, I'm gonna look that up, because I think Triceratops are herbivore dinosaurs. I don't think they're, even though he got sharp teeth like yeah, they're herbivores. Yeah, so I was right. So yeah, I think especially Sasaki, the fact that not only is he a zone user, he's a herbivore zone, and he's a dinosaur that like he's an ancient zone, but he's also a dinosaur that almost has like a armored plate. Like when you look at Triceratops, they're armored almost. They look like tanks, like they're armored almost. Like Triceratops tougher, they have tougher skins. I guess is what I'm saying. But yeah, so I could see why like he would definitely be like Sasaki of all users would definitely of all zone users would definitely be a tough person to get through his armor. Which to me, I think that being the case, that possibly being the case, I feel as though Frankie beating him is even more impressive. Because he's, his. I would look at Sasaki as somebody who probably has like out of all the out of the Toby Ropo when it comes to defense, I would look at him as probably having the highest defense. You know, that's just kind of like that's just my I want to say that's like what I assume. I'm not saying that's the case, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so they're both fighting each other and they're both resilient, so they're giving each other a tough time and actually uh putting in any damage, and Sasaki basically tells Frankie like, hey, like get out of my way. Because I think Sasaki wants to go punish the subordinates that betrayed him. So he's just kind of telling Frankie like, yo, move. Yeah. So like, cause we go to the next page and Frankie or Sasaki is telling Frankie like apparently all of the followers on the performance floor turned against us, and he said I will slaughter anyone who dares to stand in my path. So I'm assuming I guess he's going to the performance floor. I guess that's where he wants to go, but he's like he's telling Frankie like move. So I guess he wants to be finished fighting Frankie and go to the performance floor in order to fight those who betrayed the Beast Pirates. And then he pulls his sword out, which it's almost like a screw. Like I want to say their little blades look like they fold out almost, like they're folded into the sword and then they fold out. That's what it looks like, and then they start spinning, and they call it the screw sword. And Frankie says, oh, that freaky sword again. So seeing how he already seen this trick before, he says, I'm not stepping back. You know, I guess he's looking at it like Frankie's kind of looking at it like, look, I'm not moving. Despite that sword, despite how that freaky sword that you got, I'm not moving out the way. Because despite our enemy switching side, they're cool. I like them now. I like them now. I'm protecting them because now they're helping me. So I'm not going to let you attack them, Sasaki. And they even tell him, they like, hey bro, hey Frankie, we got your back. And Frankie like, nah man, I'm good. Y'all go help somebody else. I'm good. And then we see Sasaki's I don't know what they call that. Like the Triceratops, they call that I kinda wanna look that up now. Like they got like that big old look kinda like a fan almost. Like I don't know, like do somebody know in the chat? Somebody know what they call that? Let's see. I don't know what they call that. Can't find it. And I don't want to be sitting here all day looking for it. I don't know what it is. I guess it's like part of their skull or something. I'm gonna just say their their skull fan or something, like, I don't know, but his little skull fan, it starts spinning, which, which is weird because I don't think Triceratops do that in nature, but this is One Piece, so uh, so it starts spinning, and it almost gives him this ability to fly, like now he's almost even more mobile because he can fly, and so now he attacks. He basically just starts attacking, like, a lot of the guys who betrayed, a lot of the guys who are under control of Otama. He start kind of just indiscriminately just start attacking these guys. And might some of them, he might be attacking some of the guys that still are loyal to him. I don't know. He's just attacking a lot of the underlings we see. And Frankie's kind of screaming, like, like, hey, like, you guys, like, he's being more protective to these guys because they turned to his side and they were helping him. And Sasaki basically, attacks Frankie. Frankie catches it with his sword. And then he kind of diverts the slash that Sasaki sends, which like slashes, like, some walls, some parts of the building they're in, which, it destroys that. Catches Frankie off guard because he's like, like, I'm not expecting this to be an air battle. I'm not expecting this to be an air battle. Like, what's up? What's going on? And I guess this is why I said this earlier, but Sasaki said, this is what a Triceratops does. And I'm like, I don't recall in my history, you're the old history books with, like, animals and stuff. I don't recall Triceratops being able to rotate its little skull flap like a propeller, And so Sasaki prepares to, I guess, dart towards Frankie. And he does this like, Frankie basically says, okay, yeah, cool. Give me your best. Give me your best shot. I'm pulling my general shield. And so Sasaki dives towards Frankie with it's called a bullet Triceratops. Like, I guess that's the attack name, bullet Triceratops. Bullet Triceratops. And Frankie basically grabs him. He kind of like is able to hold the attack off, and then he like grabs Sasaki and turns it into a general suplex. And he basically suplexes Sasaki head first into the ground. And Sasaki basically bounces back up, gets back on his feet, and Frankie said, I'm not actually good at fighting, at sword fighting, for whatever reason. And then Sasaki swipes and cuts Frankie's sword in two. Breaks, cuts his sword in half. And so So Frankie kind of like starts running away, and as Sasaki attacks, and it's just so much going on. I kind of gotta like watch, so that's kind of why I'm stopping. I'm trying to get a full grasp of these panels, because just so much is going on these panels with this fight. Like Oda goes in on these fights sometimes, and sometimes it's hard to understand what's happening. You know, and anyway, as Frankie runs away, Sasaki sets up for another bullet Triceratops, and he darts towards Frankie again. And Frankie pulls out the Guion cannon portable version, and he catches Sasaki, but Sasaki's not. It doesn't. It like temporarily knocks Sasaki out, but Sasaki almost catches himself, and then he continues. He says, "Cough, show a bit more respect to the very symbol of fear, the Toby Roppo of the Animal Kingdom pirates." And he like basically darts at Frankie again, talking about like, if I have to, I'll take both of us out. And then that's when he attacks Frankie with the Magnum Ceratops. And he catches Frankie, like Frankie in his Shogun Frankie suit, and as he's attacking Frankie hops. It's like Frankie hops out of his Shogun Frankie armor, and he hits him with a radical beam, sending him flying, basically sending Sasaki flying. And from what it looks like, it seems Sasaki's pretty much down for the count. I don't know if that's the case, but it seems like that is so, at least for the moment. I hope not. I hope at least give us maybe another chapter and then put him down like halfway through that chapter. Kind of like how we got like 1.5 chapters of Jinbei and Who's Who. Just give us a little more. Like, we got 2 chapters of Jinbei and Who's Who. Not 2 full chapters, but 2 chapters with both of them at least being like half a chapter of Jinbei's Who and Who's Who. So I hope we get like another, just a little bit more at least. Maybe, because what I kind of want to talk about after I go over this chapter is kind of more dependent on if Sasaki is truly down. So I kind of hope he's not fully down. Like, I hope he gets back up for like one last resort type attack, and Frankie puts him down. That's what I'm hoping. But anyway, we go back to the top of the roof, and we see where Kaido and Yamato is, and Kaido is speaking to Yamato, because at first they don't, like, Oda doesn't fully reveal Yamato's form. So, and he kind of waits, he kind of builds up to the actual reveal. And he said, Kaido is telling Yamato, like, I recognize your value as a soldier, Yamato. Whoa, man, I love Kaido's laugh. But is that, he said, and then Yamato basically says, is that what a father is supposed to say? And Kaido says, I worked hard to acquire that devil fruit. I never intended for you to eat it. Kind of like Shanks with the Gamu Gamu no Mi. He never intended for Luffy to eat that. Luffy just did. And then Yamato says, I was hungry. I didn't know that would happen either. I wanted to sail out to sea, but I couldn't swim anymore. So it basically kind of goes to show that, if she was hungry and, her father's Kaido, a guy who's basically living like a king, it shows that Kaido was basically starving her. We already seen that Kaido was pretty hard on her anyway. So Kaido was basically starving her, and she found this devil fruit, thought it was food, ate it, got devil fruit abilities. And then we kind of see like Kaido with like a dot dot dot, right? Or I mean, Yamato is telling Kaido basically like, I tried to kill you more times than I can count. And more times than I can count, you beat me down, but it made me stronger. And then Kaido's kind of look like dot dot dot, like just waiting for her to continue her spiel or whatever. And then she continues by saying those cuffs weren't the only thing keeping me here on this island. And she said, if I don't fight for the sake of this country, then I can't call myself Odin. So she's really, like again, she's still continuing her living her alias as Odin. So yeah, that's pretty much the chapter. We get the reveal of her devil fruit form. We still don't get a reveal of what the devil fruit is though. We don't get a reveal of what the devil fruit, like the name of it, and what her form is. But we're about to get into that. We're about to talk about this chapter. Talk about some things. I don't really got too much to talk about. As far as because I don't feel as though a lot happened that really gave me a lot of topics. But I still got a few things that stuck out to me. I don't have as much as I normally do. But okay, so I kind of want to start I like to go kind of from front, beginning of the chapter to the end of the chapter, of things that stuck out to me. And the first thing I kind of want to stuck out, what was the first thing that stuck out to me was in the beginning of the chapter, right? It was like one of the first panels with Queen and Sanji kind of, going at it. You see, the first panel, you basically see Queen shooting a beam from his little cybernetic arm. I think that's what it was. His cybernetic arm, augmented arm, right? And Sanji says the tech to fire lasers again and again. I bet Frankie would love to get his hands on that. And to me, that's kind of I feel as though that little part, it was real small and almost kind of treated as irrelevant. But I think that's kind of a foreshadowing of Frankie getting a power up, like a power up for Frankie. I think by the end of Wino, Frankie might either maybe Sanji might like grab, like break Queen cybernetic enhancement off and take it to Frankie, or maybe Frankie might get it himself, or possibly maybe Frankie might like just examine it and or find some type of blueprints of Queens. Maybe Frankie might. And I think this would be dope. I think this would give Frankie a lot of powers. Not only just Frankie though. Not only Frankie. I'll get into that too. But not just Frankie. But if let's say Frankie goes to, let's say, Queen's lab, right? Let's say he finds Queen's lab with all his blueprints and all these things. He could find blueprints that will help him, improve upon his weapons that he already, like his Shogun Frankie, all these things. He could, like, if he gets this beam that Queen has and he's able to just nonstop shoot powerful lasers, he could implant that onto himself. And not only that, it could be a potential power up for the Sunny, a potential upgrade for the Sunny, right? Like we talked about in the last discussion, right? Like I talked about in the last discussion, that the discussion in between discussion that me and my guest Elijah did, Elids, go check out that video that I did with him and go check out his channel as well, because he has some he has pretty good information about, he has theories of hockey, and a lot of uses of hockey that we've seen through the series that weren't considered hockey, but he has theories on those being hockey. But anyway, me and him, Elids, we did a stream last week, and I talked about how I think it was last stream. We talked about Pluton, right? And how Frankie building Pluton. Did we talk about it? Oh yeah, how okay, we talked about how the sun god, right? We were talking about how one of the theories I made was Sunny possibly inheriting the sun god, the spirit of the sun god. Why? I mean, I don't want to go into that. That's something. Go check out the video I did last Sunday with Elids to get a better understanding of the theory. But basically, it was about maybe Sunny possibly holding the spirit of the sun god, and not only that, I went into depth how Sunny could possibly be maybe a miniature version of Pluton, because when you look at Frankie, he built the Sunny, right? He also had the blueprints, like he also has the blueprints of building, like the Pluton blueprints. He has that in his head. Like, I'm pretty sure someone like him, he remembers those blueprints like the back of his hand, right? So he could have incorporated a lot of Pluton specs into the Sunny. So the Sunny could possibly have some a bit of Pluton. It might not be as destructive as Pluton itself, but when you look at the coupe de burst, right, or that front cannon that the Sunny has that shoots a laser, right? Like, that's some stuff that I would think that Pluton might have, right? So that's why I'm kind of think that's like I feel as though that might be a Pluton feature or a Pluton spec that Frankie put into the Sunny. And so my thing is, if with these upgrades that like, let's say if Frankie gets a hold of Queen's tech, right, his technology, or just the blueprints of his technology, and he incorporates that into the Sunny, it could improve the Sunny and make it even closer to Pluton, while still keeping its compact size. Because I feel as though if the Sunny is a miniature version of Pluton, the fact that it's not as big as it may not be as big as the real Pluton, it might have had to sacrifice some of the destructive power that the real Pluton is capable of. To put So I feel as though maybe if Frankie gets a hold of Queen's stuff, right? If he gets a hold of Queen's tech, that he can improve upon his design of Sunny, right? And the Pluton specs, make them more efficient, make them more effective, things like that. So that's kind of right there. That kind of stuck out to me as an opportunity for Oda to not only incorporate a significant power up for Frankie, but also a significant upgrade for the Sunny. But okay. So the next thing I want to talk about, kind of short little thing. I kind of already talked about it, so I don't want to talk about it too deeply. Was Zoro and Luffy, kind of like the parallel between those two pages of Zoro and Luffy being out for the fight, and both being almost injected new life into the fight. With Zoro needing that injection, and getting out of that cast, and then Luffy needing, like them talking about injecting Luffy or giving him pills, but instead he needs food to get his full energy back. So, I feel as though we might see Zoro back in the fight early as the next chapter. You know, but no later than 2 or 3 chapters. So I think Zoro is going to be back in the fight, maybe possibly fighting King. King's been ASAP, he not ASAP. He's been AWOL a lot through Wano. Like we get almost small glimmers of King here and there. Like we get a lot of Queen. Queen was fighting. He was fighting. Him and King was both fighting Marco. But then after they stopped fighting, like when Queen kind of redirected his focus, we don't really get no more King. But Queen was fighting Chopper for a little bit, and then now he's fighting Sanji. So now I feel as though with a resurgence of Zoro being put back into the fight, now I think that King will get not only Zoro, but I also feel as though King will get his chance to display himself. And we'll also see Zoro go all out in a one-on-one, like a big one-on-one, get his major fight of this arc. Like he did show a little with Kaido, so it's not like he doesn't have any showcasing. But now we really get to see King and Zoro. What I'm hoping, what I'm thinking is about to be set up within the next 2 chapters is King and Zoro. King and Zoro. Now whether we'll actually get the see the fight between them two, and also Sanji and Queen, like that might start next act. I don't know, but who knows when this act is going to end. I thought this act would have been me if you would have asked me when this act was going to end. Like my original projection, that was chapter 999 or chapter 1000. That because I thought chapter 1000 would have been like some outside of Wano stuff, but that's not the case. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what's if we'll be getting Zoro and King this act, or if we'll just get maybe the setup of that, and then the setup of the Sanji and Queen actually like really getting into it, because they were fighting this chapter, but you didn't really see no clashes. It was more Queen shooting laser beams out, and Sanji just kind of like stating like, oh, he's shooting laser beams, or that Frankie might be able to use something like that. But there was no fight though. There was no actual clashing between Queen and Sanji. Okay, moving on. Now in this one, it's not really about the chapter, but it is relevant to Sasaki. This is kind of a theory that I heard, right? Now, I'm not sitting here giving any credence to it because, I don't have a full thought out theory for it, but I think it's worth mentioning, I guess. But I think it's worth mentioning because this chapter made me kind of rethink this theory, and I'll explain why I'm bringing this theory up. But like after I tell you the theory, but Sasaki's potential connection with Kokoro and Chimney being Kokoro's granddaughter. Now, if you're saying who's Kokoro, who's Chimney? Now yeah, Chimney's her granddaughter, but who is Kokoro? Now, Kokoro was the Tom's. Now, I don't know if it was Tom's ex-girlfriend or ex-wife or just friend. I don't know what she was to Tom, but she was associated with Tom back in Ennis Lobby, in Water 7. She was the mermaid. She was the conductor to the train. She had her grandchild who had the bunny, and they was always getting into things. But you know, there was a connection that I don't remember who I heard this theory from or who brought this up to me, but it was the possibility of Sasaki being Kokoro's son, right? Now I don't know where this theory kind of popped up. You know, a lot of people say it's kind of the hair color. You know, like Sasaki has the same hair color as Kokoro and Chimney, right? And not only that, Sasaki's a fisherman. Kokoro's a mermaid, but mermaids are in a sense still fishmen. You know, it's just their bottom is the fish and their top is usually human. But fishmen are still like, you know, they're still fishmen. So I mean, the one thing I would say, because I was reading and it said that Kokoro's son was half fishman. So Kokoro's was fishman. Her husband or whoever she had her son with, Chimney's dad with, was half fishman or half mermaid. You know, now a lot of people probably wouldn't consider Sasaki a mermaid. He's a fisherman, but you know, who's to say that some mermaids can't take on fisherman qualities? You know, like he was still half fisherman, so or he was still half human. So his bottom half could be the human part, and his top half could be the mermaid slash fishman part. Is what I'm saying. You know, obviously, Chimney's father or Kokoro's son is not in her life. You know, he's out. Like, what is he doing? He's, is he dead? Or is he a pirate? Or maybe even a Marine or a revolutionary? You know, we don't know. But the potential of Sasaki being the father, leaving his daughter to Kokoro in order to go be a pirate, right? I think it's something there, and but why do I bring that up? Why am I trying to connect that? I feel as though, why? Kokoro, like, why? What is connecting them? What is the connector? What could be what is the connection that could be there? What could be the thing that's going to connect them too, right? What's the thing that connects Sasaki and Kokoro, right? It would be Frankie, right? Frankie is that middleman. Frankie is currently fighting Sasaki. Frankie is currently fighting Sasaki. And Frankie also has a very close relationship with Kokoro back when he was a kid. I feel as though if that theory is true, and if Sasaki is not fully down for the rest of the arc, like let's say he's not finished with Frankie, let's say they continue fighting the next chapter, like Sasaki gets back up, or let's say Frankie goes off and Sasaki returns and continues fighting Frankie later. I believe that somehow maybe Sasaki, I don't like, maybe Sasaki is familiar with Frankie. Maybe Kokoro talked about Frankie before, like I don't know, and maybe it'll come up. I feel as though somehow it could come up in the middle of the fight, like he's talking about like, hey, Kokoro, Kokoro, my father, blah, or my mother, or whatever, and I don't know. I feel as though there may be a reason why Oda wanted to match up Frankie and Sasaki. Now, and I look at it, it could be it could be one or two things. It could be either one, Oda matched them up because they're both armored characters, and they're just it's just like a matchup, a great matchup between two armored individuals. Just like he matches up Zoro with swordsmen usually, or he matches up Sanji with like martial arts fighters. You know, so I feel as though it could be either that, like it's just Oda matching up two armored guys, two highly durable men, and or it could be because Frankie and Sasaki are both connected through Kokoro and Chimney, you know, and I just kind of like that idea because when you look at the last fight between Jinbei and Who's Who, they didn't really have much of a connection besides possibly the Sun God and the fact that Who's Who was a slave, and Jinbei is familiar with oppression, because his people have been heavily enslaved. His former captain was a slave, so I feel as though that they're connected. That's why Oda wanted Jinbei to fight Who's Who of all people, right? Because he wanted that connection to be made. He wanted that he wanted to somehow give some information about this character that is obviously going to be important, and that was the way to do it, by having someone like Who's Who was a former CP9 agent, but then he became like either a prisoner or a slave or something, and through being tortured and all these things, hearing this rumor about the Sun God, right? And I would think that Jinbei also is familiar with the Sun God too, because he was part of the Sun Pirates, which I feel as though Sun Pirates may have been influenced by the Sun God, because think about it. Fisher Tiger, he was the captain of the Sun Pirates, and he was a slave, and maybe as a slave he believed in the Sun God Nika, because Who's Who said that slaves prayed to the Sun God Nika. So I would think that he had some influence in that. He was almost he might even be like carrying, like Fisher Tiger might have even carried the will of Sun God Nika, because he kind of did the same thing. He liberated slaves as well, and then he started the Sun Pirates. They had the slave markings on their bodies, and they would brand over that the Sun Pirate logo, and all the Sun Pirates got that. So you didn't know who were former slaves or not, because they all just got a sun tattoo over their slave tattoo. So, I feel as though if that theory is true, because if you go out there, you'll I'm sure you'll find it. If that theory is true, then I feel as though this fight is the perfect opportunity to for Oda to drop that bombshell, and I think it would be I think it'd be a dope bombshell to drop. You know, you know. But yeah, that's with that one. Next, I want to talk about Yamato's devil fruit. Finally, like next and finally. So which before we talk about Yamato devil fruit, I kind of want to point out something that Odin that Kaido said to Yamato that kind of stuck out to me for some reason. Like it also stuck out to me. This was in the same page where before they it was on the page before they revealed Yamato's devil fruit. But Kaido said something to Yamato. He said, "I recognize your value as a soldier, Yamato. Like I recognize your value as a soldier." It had me thinking, why would Kaido say that? Why would Kaido say that? Like, yeah, it could easily be determine like, oh, she's powerful. Yeah, he wants a soldier. But when you call somebody a soldier, it almost it's almost just saying, look, you're a soldier. Like a soldier is someone who follows orders and they fight. They fight for a leader and they fight. That's all. They're just a fighter. That's all they. That's all they. That's all their value really is. That's all their value really is fighting. As a pawn used for fighting. You know, but why would he just kind of consider her a valued soldier? When earlier in not the arc, but early in the Onigashima portion of the arc, in the act, earlier in the act, right? Kaido, like earlier in the act, Kaido said that he was going to make his son Yamato into the Shogun. This was like around the time where he killed Orochi. Where he, supposedly killed Orochi. But he was like, he wanted, like, I don't see a shogun, someone who's looked at or being groomed to be a shogun, to be a soldier. Like, you can be a good fighter as a shogun, but you're not a soldier. A shogun is not a soldier. A king may be able to fight. He may be able to hold his own in battle, but he's not a soldier. He's a king, right? It might be a warrior as well. A warrior could be a king, but a soldier is usually just a soldier. A soldier is a position. It's a very low position. I don't want to say a low position, but it's a position where you're just strictly a fighter, right? So it kind of made me think, like, why would Kaido just, like, I guess chalk Yamato up to being a soldier? Like, did he not really want her to be the shogun? Or even, was it like more of he wanted her to be a shogun, but not really with any power? Just like, what do they call it? A placeholder. A placeholder. Yeah, so, yeah, that kind of just, it was weird. It was a weird statement made, in my opinion. But okay, so anyway, we check out the reveal of Yamato's devil fruit zone form. And when I look at it, like, what do you guys see when you look at it? Like, what's the general consensus of? Because again, like, I read this chapter a few hours ago, right? So I stay away from spoilers. I stay away from discussions. I stay away from that. So I didn't have that long to actually sit on this reveal, right? So a lot of people, there's probably theories on what it is. There's probably explanations. Like, people probably know what it is. But what do you guys like? What do you guys think her devil fruit ability is? Because I've been thinking, like, at first looking at it, I was like, a fox, right? Because it looked kind of like a canine. She looked kind of like a canine a little bit. Like, at first, I was looking at the sharp teeth, and I think that's why I kind of considered a fox, but I didn't. I was like, it can't be a fox because we already got, like, fox devil fruits. The one Catalina Divine has. She has the non-tail fox devil fruit. Plus, we also got that other fox. It wasn't a devil fruit ability, but I think we got fox mink, and then we got that the fox that's at the bridge who takes people's swords. We got him too, but so I was like, I don't think it's a fox. It's too many fox references in the story already. Too many people with fox abilities. So I'm like, maybe a wolf. Because my thing is, she has sharp teeth. So my thought was it's a carnivorous devil zone user. But Sasaki also has sharp teeth, and he's a herbivore devil fruit zone. So I don't think the sharp teeth means that she has to be a carnivore user. So I don't think it would be a wolf. So I thought about it. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to really, you know, you know, do like in-depth research of all the possibilities. But I thought about it. I'm like, yo, what does her devil fruit look like? And I'm thinking it kind of doesn't really. I don't know if it even looks. It kind of looks like a canine, but it also looked like it could be a deer, right? It also looked like it could be a deer. Maybe it's her horns, like her horns that makes it look more of a deer. Maybe if it's a canine with horns, but I was like, no, I think it was intentional for her to have horns, and not just because she's Kaido's. I mean, yes, part of the reason is because she's part of Kaido's lineage, but also because deers also have horns as well. And I'm like, so I was like, okay, let's do a little research, right? I was like, I'm gonna do a little research before this stream and look for what it could possibly be. And I think one of the best candidates of I was looking up like deers, like mythological deers, and hold on, let me okay. So yeah, so I was looking up mythological deers, and I found this. This right here. It's called. You should see it right here. I want to make sure it pops up in front of my But yeah, you should see it right here. If y'all don't see it, let me know. But this is called the. Let me find it. It's like the Kali. I don't know exactly how to say it, because there's the Chinese version, which is like with a Q, and then there's I want to say the Japanese version is with a K, but it's like the Kiden. Because once the Chinese spelling, I think, is Qilin. If you want to go look it up, in the Japanese version is, I think it's the Japanese version, or maybe it's the English version. I don't know. It's Kirin, and it is a mythical hooved. What does it say? Chemical. A chemical being a chimera. Okay, mythical chimera, right? A chimera being like a mixture of things, right? It's a hybrid creature. That's basically what a chimera is, if you're not sure what it is. So it's a chimera, right? And I think like the two animals is kind of like usually, I guess, like people kind of consider it, or kind of look at it as a giraffe and a deer, right? So yeah. So let me try to find some things for you guys. But yeah, so if you if you do a little research, it's really, it's associated a lot with a dragon, right? With the Chinese dragon of all things. And you look at Kaido, who is a Chinese dragon, and it says, like I'm gonna read y'all a description. This is Wikipedia. I'm not looking at like I didn't really have time to find like a really good reliable source, so I'm just going to go off of Wikipedia, because Wikipedia can be kind of trustworthy at times. It's not always reliable, but so okay. So it says the Keelan is generally have Chinese dragon-like features, most notably their heads, eyes with thick eyelashes, manes that always flow upwards in beards. So I kind of want to look at. Now we don't get like a full look at Yamato's form as far as some of the description, what the description says. But she do got those eyebrows that they talk about. Like she kind of has, like if you look at the eyebrows on the picture I showed you, and you look at it, you look at the description how it says eyes with thick eyelashes, right? Well, that's eyelashes, but I think they also mean eyebrows as well. Because if you look at if you search Keelan, it has these thick eyebrows, and her eyebrows are pretty like they're a lot thicker than her human form, right? And another thing I didn't point out, she's in her hybrid form, like which makes sense. She's going against Kaido. You can't just be half-assing with Kaido, especially she knows she shouldn't be. But yeah, so it says as it has like Chinese dragon antlers, and she kind of has dragon like antlers, you know. But yeah, like um I'll probably be doing a stream next Sunday, and because the thing about next week, or not this coming week, but the week after, I'm gonna be out of the state, so I don't know if I'm gonna be leaving that Sunday or if I'll probably be leaving that Monday, so I should be. I'll, so just count on me doing the stream next Sunday. You know, count on me doing the stream next Sunday. As far as or like a week from the day, but in 2 weeks, the stream in 2 weeks, I don't know if I'll be streaming that Sunday. I might have to postpone it to Monday because I'll be out of the state. I'll be away from my my everything, and I'll probably do it when I come back, which should be Monday. Yeah, Monday or Tuesday. But I'll update you guys on that one. You know. But yeah. So again, I'm gonna probably do a more in depth discussion about Yamato and her devil fruit. Again, if you guys want to look at if you guys want to look up if any of you guys are like real deep researchers, look up the mythological animal, the kitten. I don't know how it's pronounced because it's spelled differently. One spelled with a Q, the others with a K. Like it's Qilin. If you want to look up the Chinese the Chinese spelling of it, and the other spelling is the Kirin. But yeah, that's kind of what I think. That's kind of where I think Oda is going. I think that's going to be her devil fruit is probably the kitten. I don't know, but it is in my short research. That's what I got. But I'm gonna do some more research. So next week's discussion, which will be an in between discussion, which I might try to bring back Eliz if he's available. To talk about it. You know, if I can do the discussion this Sunday, we're going to talk about Yamato's devil fruit and the potential of what it could be, and hopefully I'll have more information on the kitten and how it, more information that connects them, to validate my theory on her devil fruit being the kitten, which is like a mythological deer. Because that's what it looked like. She looked like a deer to me, and the animal kind of looks. She kind of looked like the kitten right there. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I really got for chapter 1019. I think it was a pretty good chapter. It was a tough follow up for last week's or the last chapter, not last week's chapter, but last chapter, because last chapter was like the last two chapters was good, but I like the action between Sasaki and Frankie. You know, I really enjoyed that. You know, there wasn't a lot of like info dumping on this chapter like it was last time, but we might get one next chapter. You know, and with that one, I'm kind of hoping maybe it's like a Sasaki admitting that he is Kokoro's son or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty good chapter. You know, it was an okay chapter. You know, coming from the last two chapters is, you know, I didn't, you know, but not all chapters are going to be like that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah. So, what do you guys think of the chapter? You know, let me know in the comments or in the chat. In the chat about I was about to say chapter. Do you think that Frankie? Do you think that Queen's technology? You think Frankie might incorporate that and get a power up off of Queen's technology by the end of Wano? When do you think Zoro and Luffy will return to the fight? You know, I'm thinking within 2 chapters, but you know, what about Sasaki's connection with Kokoro? Do you believe that it's possible that Sasaki is Kokoro's son and Chimney's father? You know, do you think that will be revealed, or do you think Sasaki's defeated and he has no more relevance to the arc? That's one reason why I'm hoping Sasaki is not defeated, at least yet, because I hope next chapter, kind of like what we got between Jinbei and Who's Who, I hope we get a little, you know, some type of reveal. You know, maybe, you know, most likely the reveal of Sasaki being Kokoro's son. And what do you think Yamato's devil fruit is? You know, what do you think about it? Do you like the design? And what do you think she is? And there's also one thing I also wanted to add. I almost forgot to say, but the history of the devil fruit, because Kaido brought up the fact that he didn't intend for Yamato to eat that devil fruit. Right? What was the intention for that devil fruit? What do you guys think the intention for that devil fruit that Yamato got was? You know, because it's not like Kaido could eat it. So, could that have been the favor that Big Mom said she did for Kaido when she said, "Yeah, I did this for you and you owe me"? Could it be that devil fruit, or do you think that was Kaido's devil fruit? But yeah, so hopefully we'll get more on why Kaido didn't want Yamato with that fruit. You know, what do you guys think? Why do you think Kaido didn't want Yamato with that devil fruit? Anyway, that's been a stream right there, V. You know, not as long as last week's stream. Good hour and 15 minutes. So yeah, make sure you like the video or like the stream. You know, we'll be back. These next 2 weeks are going to be iffy. You know, so make sure you hit that bell for notifications so you know. So if I don't tell you we're going live, you at least know when I do go live. So hit that bell for notification. Because I don't know for a fact if I'm going to make these next 2 streams, because I'm going to be out of state in 2 weeks. Not this coming week, but next week. I'll be doing some work. I got something that need to be done. I'm going to be busy that week. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think about the chapter. Hit that like button. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. You know, if you're on Twitter, hit me on Twitter. Hit me on Instagram @Blumpguy. Join the One Piece Discord, which is in the description box, in the One Piece Facebook group, which is in the description box. Anyway, I'm out of here. Y'all be easy. Y'all have a good Sunday. Peace.